So China's incredibly diverse, both by geography, but also demographic, generation. Even amongst the tier 1 cities, it can be completely different, from the celebrities that they support to their weight, their food preferences, their lifestyle preferences, the environment they live in, the apps they use. Everything is completely different. So it's really worth looking at China as a series of separate markets rather than as a whole. The 3 pillars to localizing in China is number 1 is to understand who your target market is, because without that you're just going to have a generic strategy. And 2, understand what pushes the buttons of that target market, and so you can really play to both the functional and emotional needs of that consumer. And then 3, understand their customer journey. So each of those touch points is quite different from consumer to region, and identify at each touch point what it is that they are looking to find out and what it is that influences their decision. Mondelez are most famous for Oreo cookies and Lay's and things like that. They have tier 1, tier 2, which is very much an online focus. A lot of their consumer, their target market are influenced by e-commerce and social media channels. Then when you look down to tier 3 and below, they still like to visit a traditional store. That's their form of entertainment in a lower tier city. So if you look at something like Singles Day, they have a lot of online promotions to try and reach tier 1 and tier 2. But even on Singles Day, they still have a lot of offline promotions in the lower tier cities to reach them. That's something I find really interesting if you're looking at variations between regions. People in Beijing, 25% of them are obese or overweight, whereas overall in China it's 12.5%. You look at height, they are 3 inches higher in Beijing than they are down south in Guangzhou and Shenzhen, other tier 1 cities. So if you're designing cars, you might need more legroom. If you're designing clothes, you might need different sizing. And also health products. They might appeal more to obesity in the north, whereas down south it may not have as much need. From an economic standpoint, the lower tier cities are getting more affluent. The gap is still very wide between tier 1 and tier 2 and 3 and so on. But they're crossing that threshold of being able to afford discretionary purchases, go on holiday and things. And something when consumers go on holiday, they're much more likely to be influenced by overseas lifestyles and brands, so they're more likely to buy and demand those purchases.